morning, class. How was everyone's day today?
Amazing.
That's awesome. I have had a pretty long day of watching the Masters with my fiance. So I'm glad to be here teaching this class instead. So today we are going to be learning. Oh, I apologize for the computer. Our projector's down, bad Wi-Fi, so we'll have to pay attention here today. Today we're going to be looking at short stories. So my first question for the class is, what makes a story work? Go ahead.
I feel like what makes a story work is like the way that it gets written, because I know some stories are like really boring because the author uses bad wording, but some stories are really good because the author makes it flow better.
Perfect. I love that answer. I also think that I need to check that. I also think that along the lines of the story, it's about what can make you keep reading. That's what makes a story a story. If you can put down a book, I personally think that's not a very good story. Have any of you guys ever read a short story?
I have.
Perfect. Do you have any favorites?
Oh goodness. Yes.
Too many to count?
Too many to count.
Okay, well, so today, we all know what themes, characters, and plots are. We should have learned it in elementary school, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So today we're just going to be diving into a short story and hyper-focusing on theme, plot, and story, or character, sorry. So this is an overview. I want you guys all to be able to have your charged laptops. I need you guys to have pencils and papers and sitting in your assigned seating, and make sure that everyone is listening and has their eyes forward. Okay, what is a short story? Who would like to read the definition of a short story? Go ahead.
A story with a fully developed theme, but significantly shorter or less elaborate than a novel.
Perfect. So do we know what a novel is? It's like a chapter book. A short story essentially has everything a novel has shortened, given the name, short story. So before we dive into our short story, which one I picked out for all of us to read, I want to know what your guys' favorite short story or movie is and what makes it good. Go ahead.
My favorite movie is probably Hamilton. It's a musical, but it's on Disney Plus, so that makes it count.
Yeah, for sure. What's good? What is it? Why does it grab you?
It's very action-packed, and it has like a love story and battles, and it's just really, it keeps my attention.
I love that. I'll have to watch it. I've never watched it. Okay, so today we are going to be reading The Most Dangerous Game. So on your Chromebooks, you will have this link, and I just want you guys to, it's linked, so just tap the link and it will take you directly to the short story. And I just want you guys to read the first 2 pages of this story. And when you're done, go ahead and just put your head down on the desk, and that will let me know that you're finished. Here, you can take this and just, perfect. Alrighty, it looks like we're about to wrap up. There's only a couple of us who left who still have some writing or some reading to do. So let's go ahead and focus back up towards the board. Now that we've read pages 1 and 2, I have some discussion questions for us all. So, what was this story about? In a gist, in the first 2 pages, what do you think will happen? Go ahead.
Well, they were on a boat and they were by some land and they were talking that it had a bad name and it was dangerous and they weren't a fan of it. And then the one main dude was like smoking his pipe on the rail and he fell off.
Okay, so now that he falls off, what do you think is going to happen from there? What's the conflict with that?
I'm sure he's worried that he's gonna die, so he probably needs to find land, or he needs to get his friends to like come and rescue him with their life buoys.
Perfect. For these next 2, I want you to talk to your partner, and we'll reconvene, and one of you will have the answer. First one is, what does the main character struggle with in the first 2 pages? So go ahead and turn and speak, and I'll call you back forward when it's time to. Okay.
I feel like the conflict is that he struggles to like almost like trust, because he was talking about how dangerous the island was, and he was talking about how everything's poisonous, and he was talking about how this is bad and that is bad, and then he was even talking about how things were bad when he fell over, and then like I feel like that's his internal conflict.
Okay.
And then his external conflict, he's trying not to die.
A few others I heard around the class were that he might struggle with friendships and forming them. However, like it's talking about he's on the boat with people that he knows. However, it kind of seems like he's a glass half full type of guy and might not be as well liked, therefore not as likely to be saved by his friends. And I also heard that he was a pessimist, which I don't know how to spell. Someone try my Looks right. So, with these 4 things that we thought with his struggle, how might they change throughout the story?
Well, I feel like he needs to make friends. So maybe he'll make friends on the island and he'll learn how to trust people because he's made friends.
So, he'll make friends by building trust.
Yes.
Perfect, that's beautiful.
And I mean, I'm always happier when I have friends, so maybe he'll be less pessimistic.
Perfect, so we can connect pessimist. Let's try and think now how we can connect trying to survive.
Well, if he makes it onto the island, he obviously survives, but I'm sure he'd be happy he survived too.
Okay. So that might change the pessimistic view. Very good. So now that we kind of have our layout of our storyboard, what do we think the lesson that this story was going to try and teach us will be?
that friendship is important.
Very good. What else about trust and maybe trying to survive and trust aspect?
You can't do everything by yourself. You need to trust other people, just like how we're always told it's okay to ask for help.
Perfect. So now, based off this on the board, this is just like a little snippet on what we are going to be doing. We're going to be making a story map. So a story map is really easy. You'll just need a pencil and a pad of paper. And based off those first 2 pages we read, we are going to be making our own short story. So here we have trust, trying to survive, friendship, and pessimist. And we got all of these from the first 2 pages from our book. So think about how a strong start is important to a short story. You really want to grab the attention of the reader. First of all, we will have characters, settings, problem, and a solution. That is involved in every short story. You have to have these 4 elements. What you do with these 4 elements is up to you. So I will now give you some time to do a quick storyboard. Just 1 or 2 sentences per box stating what you want to write. Use your own creativity, come up with something fun, and we'll reconnect after you are finished. Say it again.
Is the storyboard based off of the story?
This is, but you don't have to. You just can make up whatever you want.
Just a random story?
Yep.
Awesome.
While you guys are working, I want to just make sure you guys are thinking of some things. Names of main characters. Names are important. Also, where are they at in their lives? In this story per se, like, you wouldn't think that it's a baby falling overboard. So make sure it's well known, their age. You need to think about where are they, so your surroundings, what do you want it to look like, so the reader can have a clear image of that in their heads. You need to have a challenge that they're going to face, and you need to have a plot line that will help you sort of like bring up how the challenge is going to come about. Kind of like a build-up. We've done our story mountains where it's like it rises and the conflicts at the top and then solutions at the bottom. Kind of think of like that when you're writing this. And then you need to have a solution. So how will they overcome these challenges? What will become of it, and will they become someone different after they have faced this challenge? Beautiful. And now that we are finished with our story maps, I would like to ask if one of us could come up and present what their idea was to the class, and then we'll talk about it. Come on up.
So our characters were Susie, Doug, and Super Sam. Susie is a little girl, and Doug is her dog, and Super Sam is a superhero. The setting is Susie is at the park with her dog Doug, and then all of a sudden a monster steals him. She wants to save Doug, but she's too nervous to ask Super Sam. So the problem is Susie wants her dog Doug to be rescued, but she's too nervous to talk to him and ask. So the solution is Susie needs to learn that it's okay to ask for help so Super Sam can come save the day.
Beautiful. I love that. The only note I would have for her is, and we're just starting out, so everyone's going to have notes, so don't worry about having one, is make sure you add in a plot twist, just to make sure that throughout the story you're still engaging readers and making sure that they want to listen as you continue reading. But that was very good. Now, do you have an ending for your story yet?
We're still working on it.
Still working on it. Beautiful. So by the end of next class, I want everyone in their groups to have their storyboards finished, or story maps, finished. And like I just said, they all need to have 3 things. Do you remember what they are? Just did that. Yep, what are the 3 things every story needs?
A problem and a solution and a plot twist.
Good job. Now, the 3 things that we learned today are a plot, which we said, characters, which we did, and you noted, and you wrote them down in your storyboard, your story map, and third, a theme and or a plot twist. Your theme and your plot twist kind of go hand in hand. Your plot twist needs to relate back to your theme. Can't be a random plot twist. So those were all correct. My last thing for you guys today is I'm going to write something on the board, and I want you guys to reflect, and then it's not a yes or no, it's more of like an abstract question. So it kind of has to do with your story maps. I'm just going to write it down, you're going to reflect what the question says, and then let me know what the question made you feel, think, etc. Make sense? Okay. Due to time, I think I just would rather do our exit question right now instead of our think bubble. So I kind of just put the 2 together. So our think bubble was all good stories have a theme or a big idea. So what I wanted you guys to do was sit and think about what a theme or a big idea means to you. And this is our exit question. So go ahead, take a second to read it. Once you have come up with your answer, raise your hand and I will call on you. First one to answer gets to pack up their things and head home for the day. Yes, go ahead.
I guess my theme in life is that I'm a student and my theme is going to school and living my life and how I continue to build it is if I keep on going to school until I'm an adult and I can get a job.
Beautiful. You may go home for the day. Thank you class.